Hello everyone, hope you guys are doing good, feeling great. Today we're going to talk about something which we all often get confused about. We're going to talk about which camera should you buy as a beginner. Do stay tuned and watch the video till the end because at the end of the video, you would be coming to know about the basic principles and strategies which you need to keep in mind before spending your money on buying something which is very valuable to you. So let's begin with it. What camera should you buy sounds like a very innocent little question, but we're going to complicate the process a little bit to find out the right camera for you. This video is going to help you make that perfect decision. Most of the time when we're thinking about buying a camera, we just think about price or technology, but there is a lot more to that. On one hand, it sounds like such a practical question where you need to consider the budget, specs and the brand. But on the other hand, it is a very deep and emotional question. And that's what we are going to talk about first. Because many of us, we already know that a camera is what we will see the world through, what we will frame or frame objects of interest, what we are going to emote and connect with, and what we're going to show to the outside world. It is all about expressing yourself to the outside world, recording life and moments that you would like to keep yourself forever, even when your memory fades. Honestly speaking, buying a camera is a personal love affair. You just have one question to ask yourself. What camera feels right for you? When you close your eyes and you imagine, what camera do you see yourself picking up and going out to shoot with? What camera do you fancy yourself with and what makes you feel powerful and really creative? That's the one you should go for. Let me assure you, that's the one you should actually go out on a date with. Here, I just have 2 tips for you. It's okay if she had a past relationship. Give second-hand camera a chance. Have a chat first to see if you really connect with it. Try it before you spend spend money on buying the camera. Spend some time maybe at the shop, or maybe you can even borrow and see how you're feeling about it, how you feel with it. And if you think you don't have the money to buy it right now, just wait for the right time, but buy what your heart wants. Now moving on to the second aspect of the video. Now if this is not who you are, don't worry, because right now we are going to talk about some basic principles and strategies that is going to help you to derive at that decision, that right decision of choosing the right camera for yourself. So before I go into that, if you're someone who just wants a good travel camera, we will be doing a separate video on that. So go ahead and click the subscribe button and press the bell icon so that you're notified whenever it is up. YouTube is filled with a lot of spec sheet videos. This video is not one of them. This is going to be about helping you use the information from all the other videos that you have seen and watched till date and derive at the right decision in the right way. It's about giving you the right approach which you can use in buying the camera for yourself. So let's just frame it. Point number 1, the best camera lets you grow with it. Now what do I mean by that? You should be able to see a growth path with the camera that you're planning to buy. Because remember, camera is not just the only piece of photographic tool that you would be buying. There would be other stuff like lenses, lights, battery grips, software and apps and a whole host of other stuff. So research if the camera that you're considering to buy opens an upgrade path for you or not. Do they have good affordable lenses? Are there decent camera bodies available for upgrades within budget? Do they release software and firmware updates? Do third-party manufacturers make stuff for them? Consider all these questions. Remember, your key growth area is in your skill level. So please do check if the camera that you're planning to buy is relevant for you for at least a year. If you want to, let's say, shoot in snow or on a beach, you should be able to buy a camera that you should buy a camera that is weatherproof, because you might just want to photograph your creativity during a storm, but if your camera is not ready for it, then your camera is actually holding you back in a way that you won't even be able to imagine. Another example here, let's say if you imagine yourself to be a hybrid shooter and focus on videos too, but if your camera doesn't have the right focus mechanism for that, then you are going to impact your learning ability in a negative way here as well. So one of the most important way to grow as a photographer is by taking more and more pictures. So if your camera is too heavy for you to carry around enough number of times, then your camera is actually holding you back again in your growth process. So maybe you should consider the weight of the camera before you consider buying a camera. So the best tip here would be to buy a camera that never comes in between you and your photography. It's a bonus if it helps you to grow in the entire process. Moving on to point number 2, the second strategy. The best camera lets you learn even with its limitations. Now, don't jump into buying a camera that is so good that you are never able to reach its limitation, because something amazing happens only when you start using your camera and finally hit the limitation of your camera. It forces you to work around the limitation and helps you in finding a solution, and in this entire process you would be actually growing in terms of your skills. It shows you that you have grown as a photographer and that you're demanding more out of your camera, and trust me, that feeling is very encouraging. It is very reassuring. Moving to point number 3. Don't worry about future proofing. Buy what works for you now, because let me assure you, you are going to evolve as an individual. You will grow, your style is going to change, you will find your own calling. And you have to learn to estimate your need and abilities in a much more better way, and that you can only do with your own experience. So these things do take time. Trust me, you are going to be very likely wrong if you think that you know what you will evolve as a creative person 2 years down the line. So if you spend all your money for some specific feature that you think you might need 2 years down the line, remember one thing: you're spending a lot of your hard-earned money on just a guesswork, and that definitely is not a smart way to invest. 2 years down the line, you might fancy underwater shooting projects, and this is a whole different ball game. For example, if you think that future-proofing yourself by buying a high-burst camera that can shoot 14 frames per second, and therefore you decide to pay for a camera that is double the price because of the feature that you find yourself loving at the moment, and then later on discover that landscape photography is something that you really enjoy doing, then you would have already wasted a lot of money on something that you never needed. However, if you know what path you're already on, then go ahead and future-proof and pay the premium that you want to pay. But even then, remember one thing: future-proof cameras 2 years down the line will be a much more loaded camera. Pay for the value, not the price tag. Many of you are likely to buy an APS-C or a DX or the so-called crop sensor camera. For most of the brands, except for Fuji, their smaller sensor cameras are entry-level and beginner camera. So most people who buy them don't actually use them roughly enough like a professional, and these individuals buy the camera, put it in the locker for 2 years and use it only maybe just once. Finally, in the end, they realize that smartphones are good enough for them, and they end up selling those cameras. So go ahead and buy these used cameras. They are pretty good. Even if they have 7,000 to 12,000 clicks shutter counts, that's still really good. Just buy them at half the price. So for example, Nikon D5600 is a great camera, so you can buy it second hand or with a used kit lens also at half the price in most of the cases, and that way you end up paying for the value, not just the price tag that the brand actually puts on it. But honestly speaking, D5600 is a great value camera even at the first hand price that it sells for. The best camera is that which allows you to have money for other basics also. I spoke about growing with the camera. Eventually growing as a person, as a creative person, is the most important thing. And to grow as a creative, you may feel that you need more stuff rather than just a camera. In most cases, cameras fight with other stuff like lenses, lights, tripods, bags, and suck out hell lot of money out of your pockets. So those are, honestly speaking, evil cameras. They are pretty and fancy, but they can make you poor really fast. Stay away from such dates. Stay away from dates of such kind. Look at a budget and buy a camera that suits your budget. Leave some money in your pocket to invest in stuff like lenses, gray screen, a flashlight, a basic memory card, or even some extra batteries. And finally, coming to the last point, best cameras fuel your romance for photography. Finally, like I said at the very beginning, buy the camera that feels right for you. It has to be something that you can carry with you in most places easily. It has to be something that you feel like taking out and holding and going out to shoot. Something that helps you imagine and enhance your creativity. So experience it first. Cameras are not cheap, so buy it offline. Go to the shop multiple times, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, and keep holding the camera and checking it out. Go to different stores if the seller gets irritated. Ask your family members or friends if they already have something that you're looking for. You can check out with them as well. But please don't be shy. Just go out and check out. It is not a crime for sure. But if they refuse, at least you will get to know them better. So find out if that camera gives you that feel, that vibe, before you send the final letter to your Valentine. So here is where I leave you today. But before you go, here's a message from the team. This channel is very new, so when you hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon, we know that there is a group of individuals out there who would like to hear from us. This will encourage us to keep coming back to you with more thoughtful ideas. Your likes and your comments go a long way too. So just share what you feel down below, write down your questions, and we will answer them in the next coming videos. Till then, see you soon. Take care. Goodbye.